the design room. Welcome to the design room. Today, we will be designing pterodactyls. No, I'm running this into the ground. I need to stop. Let's see. My Word document. I need to make this a little smaller. But we will be doing it over here. So I need to, let's pull our window up. Which one is it again? Is it this one? I think it's this one. That's just that one. Okay, take our logo down. Logo, go away. Thank you. Okay, so as we're working on this, I last night I got through to all the way through to tutorial 20. So we were on 17 yesterday. I did 3 more last night. And it's kind of holding me up from doing other emotes and stuff like that, but we'll get it. Ping the server. Yes. That's what I was forgetting. My brain was going, you forgot something. I get that. Okay. Boop-a-doop. Got it written and ready to go. Just need to put it in. Announcements. Ping the server. The server has been pinged. Okay, lots of stuff to read there later. But the ping was silent. One ping. Just one. Okay. So we were working through, and yesterday we were talking about modes of the game. So we have a simple mode, challenging mode, adventure mode, story mode, easy, medium, hard. We have to decide what we're going to do in those particular instances. We also talked a little bit about having training areas for the things that you learned from your grandparents or from your ancestors. And I put a little bit more thought into that, and I thought that it'd be kind of cool is if they told you where to go train. Maybe you get quests from that grandparent that force you to learn how to use the skill that they just gave you. So I was thinking about that, and we had put down training areas, but we can add to that we can base those on grandparents, not suggestion. I'm looking for another word. Ancestors quest. So each of them will give you a special quest to go and learn the dang it. I have a plus in front of that. That's why it's getting confused. So each ancestor will give you a quest that forces you to go out and learn the skill that you have. And what I was thinking about that is the skill itself should have levels. And the reason about that is because I like the idea of, like, if we do like a atomic shout type thing. If he does a little one, he can move a tumbleweed across the street or down the street. If he does a bigger one, he can move a boulder. You see what I mean? If he has the biggest one, he can move a boulder. So I thought that having those as levels, so not just the training areas, but the actual skill itself, as you learn it, you get better at it type thing. Sorry, I'm making this bigger so you guys can see it. I just realized on screen it's very small. So we have our ancestors quest. I spelled it wrong. We're just gonna have to deal with it. Ancestor quests. Oh, I've never seen that happen before. Oh, I see what happened. Yep. Okay, let's just take that off. Don't merge. Thank you. Ancestors quest. Okay. That way, and what I'd like to do is for each of the things is that it has we'll make it have a lifespan. And what I mean by that is the let's see, leveling up. Yeah, I can spell. We'll say levels for the each thing is like a level 1 through 5. For the for skill. And what we want to do is when we make our game map of or our game thing, we'll say, okay, let me just do a quick example of what I'm talking about, because I'm going to raise my hands in the air and flap them all around, and then it's probably not going to make any sense. But we'll just do it quick. So we'll say the shout, and then we'll say Cupid's arrow. Meaning these are just things I'm making up. So if we have our levels 1 through 10, then the shout will be important for whatever level. It will be important for your first four levels. Cupid's arrow may not be important till here. You know, so we want to do something like that, where as those skill sets are being learned, they're only good for a certain part of the game, and then you have to have one of the higher skill sets. That makes sense? Because I like the idea of not only your character evolving, but the way they fight evolving. Evolve with that their fight evolves. And then you leave some things behind. So yeah, you have the shout, and it gets you through specific areas and stuff like that. But in the later game, you don't really need it, because I know that a lot of games, what they do is you now have all these skills, and you have to use 15 skills to kill one big boss. And I'm not a fan of that, because my fingers aren't as nimble as that. It's hard for me to switch between skill sets like that. So let's see. In my humble opinion, the training of the newly acquired ancestors' abilities should be quick as possible. Yeah, it could be quick as possible. It could be quick as however time it takes them. Probably a training ground. Yeah, and that's why I had it up here, as on here we were talking about training areas, is where you can go and learn that skill to that level in specific areas. And those areas are set up. The ancestors tell you where they are, but they're set up for you to learn the skill to that level, because that will get you through the area that is near that level. So you're training before going into an area almost. It's that's the way to look at it, but we're gonna mask it in some other things that will make it pretty good. Yeah, training may be a bad word. We'll say leveling, skill leveling areas. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, ancestors. Yeah. So, but we limit the amount of skill you can get with that particular item. It doesn't mean that later we don't have a similar item, but it depends on once we start actually getting the game put together and we start moving around it and doing things. We'll with some of those things will just come naturally. So. Yeah, because we could tie areas of the entire areas of the game into the ancestors. Whereas grandma can go, I used to love being by the lake, and breathing the water or breathing the air coming through the forest, going over the lake, and things like that. We can make a bunch of story stuff up like that for each one, which will also help guide you to where you need to go in the game next, or where they're sending you in the game. Because we were talking about that yesterday, and we were also talking about, let me see if it's over. Where did I put it? No. Oh, wait, no, that was it. Or was it here? Nope. Oh, this is story. Game flow. Oh, we talked about that. Family crypt. Okay, was it in the village? We put it, It must be back here at the beginning. Simplicity modes, character, maybe. Yeah, here it is. So we talked about uh, a living journal. So I put some time into thinking about that last night too. Is like, okay, well, what would we have in the living journal? And one of the things, it could be our end all be all to go when things are the worst. So we could maps so that areas that you've already explored could be shown in there. You know, we can do the player notes. I really like the idea of player notes because when I'm playing a game, I usually have sticky notes everywhere because I'm writing stuff down all the time, and I would rather have it in the game. Then you can just pull it up there, so you could use it as your note taking. You know, callbacks, which are basically reminders of what things you have to do, you know, and who you're doing them for, you know, which also ties into the next section that I had, which was quest checklist. So you can as you're getting your quest, they'll stack them for you so that you can go back to them. And then skill recipes, you know, things like that. I thought that those would be some of the things that you would keep in the live journal, you know, like, but depending on what the difficulty level is if we're going to do a difficulty thing like we talked about back here, where there's this modes thing, then the amount of information that can be seen in the live journal would change. You know, the higher the level, the less information you would have in your journal. That kind of things. I thought that was kind of good. I thought that would be kind of good, but let's see. But yeah, so let's see back here. And then as request. Yeah, I knew I did that. I thought I did. So we can say their favorite areas are tied into the quests that they give you. Yes, those kind of, yes. Tudo, 1902. Yes, callbacks are as in journal. Yes, callbacks that just key simple reminders of things that I may have the wrong word for it, but it's just like, okay, what was I doing there? But also the callbacks could be, okay, if you meet someone new and they say, I want you to go on this quest and it's tied into someone that you've done a quest for in the past, I like the idea of being able to do a callback to what quest that original person gave you to remind you what it was when this new person is giving you something that is tied to it. You know, quest stringing or what, I forget what the official name of that kind of thing is, but I just call it callbacks. It's you giving yourself the ability to remember what you have done, because you may go and do a thing for the baker, and you know that's like 3 days ago while you were playing, like an hour a day or something, and you come back and go, I don't remember what we did for the baker, and I don't understand how it ties in. So that kind of thing could be to me helpful in the game, but like I said, we're still throwing ideas on the wall. We're nowhere near to having a final document. Yeah, I'm big on trackers. I like the ability to say, okay, what did I do? Okay, what do I have done? You know, it's like here's the 10 quests I've gotten from the game so far. I've completed 3 of them. I got 7 more, and each of them are multi-layered. What do I have to? What area am I in, and can I do any of them right now? It's basically what I want to know, because I got 5 minutes before I have to go catch a bus to go to TwitchCon. No, I'm kidding. I missed that in some maps, some games. Then I spend like 30 minutes trying to remember. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. There's been times when I've been not been able to play a game for a couple weeks, and I come back and I'm like, okay, what was I doing? Where was I? And it'd just be good to have that reminder. So you can have notes on conversations that you had with the people of the village, which would include the dialogues for the quest that you're doing, which is essentially what you guys were talking about in callbacks. Yes, it's same kind of thing, but the callbacks would be like nested. So it'd be a quest checklist. The callbacks would be nested in that list. So let me do that. Nested, that kind of thing. Maybe that's a more proper way to put it. Oh, that should have been a exclamation point. Yeah, nested callbacks, that kind of thing, as opposed to just straight callbacks. Maybe that makes more sense. And we're in Zombieland. Zombies. My last playthrough of Wicked 3 had a 6-month break in between. It took me about 2 days to figure out where I was going and what I was doing. Yeah, I've had mini games do that to me. Even some old games like Monkey Island and Sam & Max and those kind of games. Is if there's a couple days in between and real life gets in the way and stuff like that, and you come back to them and you're just like, I don't know what, huh? Yeah, and it can take you a long time to figure out what you're doing, and even then, and people go, oh, well, that's just more playtime. No, it isn't. It's more time to get really annoyed at your game. You can make a hard game and have easy aspects to it, or not easy, have helpful aspects to it. Yes, Monkey Island was absolutely amazing. You could lose track so quickly in that game. Yeah. Sam & Max was awesome. I liked the first Sam & Max was just amazing to me. It was so funny. You're talking like some serious. They put some serious humor time into that game. I just keep remembering the ball and string where they have to reach into the largest ball and string and pull something out. I got stuck in the Secrets of Evermore because I didn't play for a few months. Yeah, I can see that every single time. Yep. I've done that so many times where it's just like, But that's the thing is that's like we used to do things in old Blizzard. We would, what are the games we like, and what are the things about them we don't like, and how can we fix them? How can we fix them in the things we're going to do next? And that's how it was done. So that's kind of what we're doing here. It's like, okay, well, I like this aspect. I don't like that aspect. Did you play any of King's Quest? Of course. I actually met, I think I met the lady that wrote King's Quest. I forget her name. Or maybe my brain could be completely shattered on this, but I seem to remember meeting someone and them being introduced to me as the creator of King's Quest. Roberta Williams, yes, that is correct. Yeah, I met her once. That was over 30 years ago. Because way back when Vivendi bought Sierra in that time period, because there was a party and we all went to and met. The idea was for everybody in game development to meet each other and all that. And she was introduced to me. A lot of games create a major need for admin in between. Yeah. I don't want to do a boatload of admin to get to the game. And a well done journal can help and the player avoid the need for excessive admin. Yeah. And what's funny is back in the day, they put journals in games. They were there. You know, I seem to remember there were several big games that you could go in and type notes inside the game and all that stuff, and it would save those notes, you know, and save them local, you know. And I'm just like, yes, that please, more of that. I mean, even with the games we're playing, I'm writing on sticky notes the codes to get back to where we're at, you know. And it's like, okay, I just like the idea of just having it all in one, you know. Plus, later on, make it printable, because that'd be kind of cool. Because you can take that then and go, here's my whole journey through this game. This is actually kind of cool. Hurricane just made kind of a love letter console cave. Letter to the console cave. I don't know what the console cave is. Currently playing Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and they have an excellent quest tracking. Might be worth checking it out. Okay, I'll look at it. I will put it on my list to check out. Put it in my notes. Put this in the notes. Is the game console Carol even? So yeah, so that's kind of where I'm leaning on. That is, I want to be able to have an area where, yes, you're learning your skills and you're keeping track of your skills and your recipes and stuff like that. And I mean recipes for anything, whether it's making a cabinet or whatever. What's the recipe for it? 2 cords of wood, blah 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 blah, whatever, you know. But I want to be able to have a place for that, and then just player notes, you know, so that, like, if you know, say you're going on vacation and you know that you're not going to play the game for a week because you're going on vacation, you can in there, the way I envision it is, in there you can say, you can say, I'm doing this quest, here's the reasons why, boom, and then go on vacation and come back, and your note is preserved as to what you were doing when you left and all that other stuff. I don't want to make it like a fully automated thing where the game just does it for you. I want to make it a player responsibility, but I think it'd be cool. So yeah, well, that's what it's a journal, a diary, same thing, different word. Yeah. Devil King, yes. It's like a diary for the player, but it also has a bunch of game related things for to keep you on track if you're not if you're just playing and not going on vacation. Does that make sense? Playing, not going on vacation. Another thing I want to talk about, and this is the reason why I put Inside Out as our movie today, and I was talking about Herman's Head, because one of the things that a writer told me a long time ago in television, when I was working in television back in the late 80s, early 90s, before Silicon Synapse, is he said some of the best stories take those personality types or those emotional types and use those as characters in their writing. So in the case of like Herman's Head, let me pull it back up here. I think I saved it. I did. Yes, I did. So in case of Herman's Head, you had lust, sensitivity, intellect, and anxiety. So you had 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there was a fifth one. Wasn't there a fifth one? You know, so okay, but we'll use those 4 as examples. So you have sensitivity, lust, intellect, and anxiety. When you're putting your story together, what he suggested was this: is writing a story that your main character is pretty much solid. They are who they are, but each of the other characters are a representation of how that main character thinks from this other perspective. So if you have a main character and his best friend is Sally, Sally is a representation of his sensitivity to the world around him. You know, it doesn't have to be overblown where it's so obvious, but she has her own personality, all that other stuff. But when she talks to him and does things, she talks to him from that point of view, that sensitivity point of view. Then you have something like Bob, and this is, I'm using the format of Herman's Head for this. So you have someone like Bob, who's the only thing he does is he talks about his lust for everything. I mean, a perfect example of that would be Neil Patrick Harris in How I Met Your Mother. He represents the lust of the character of the main character. You know, so building your characters for your storyline based on the emotions of your main character can give you a much fuller story with that. But you just don't do it to the point to where it's just crazy all the time, blah blah blah. You know, your one anxious guy shouldn't always be. In fact, now I think about it, if you think about How I Met Your Mother, that's exactly how they wrote those stories. You know, because you can correlate each of the people around the main character as a different part of their personality for telling those stories. And I may be expressing it way out of control wrong, but this is because all he said to me was, you know, think about the emotions of the main character and then build characters that carry those emotions for him. And then I saw Herman's Head and I went, wait a minute. That's exactly what he was explaining. And I'm like, this is something I can do. This is something I like. Yeah, but your main character should always be the deciding factor in any of the stuff that comes up from those other four characters, if it's four or whatever. You know, but you can, when you start to look around, you'll see that pattern in a lot of things, you know, and those patterns are patterns that we recognize subconsciously that draw us to it, that make us feel like it's a fuller story. Because it's not just it makes your main character not just a flat character. It makes your main character more interesting. It happens, you know. I'm just using it as an example. Cootie Queen. Yeah, it was a different kind of show, and it was what it was. And I'm only just watching most of them now because they're in my system now. I don't. It's just, to me, a good starting point, you know, and we could also use stereotypes and stuff like that for different characters. But if they represent something that the main character has an overabundance of or has none of, it's a really good way to use those characters to help your main character grow into something they should be. Most of the brief life in the carrier, making them more than just names on a page. Yes, they become people we root for, cry with, and remember long after the story ends. There's a lot of shows out there where a perfect example of where the main characters were the worst part of the show. Does that make sense? I can think of two where I could care absolutely less about the main character or the two main characters in a show, but all the supporting characters were really, really good. You know, Marshall's the sane guy, Barney the lustful guy, Lily's the crazy beeswax, and Robin is the career chaser. Yeah. And all of them can be tied back to the main character as to what they're striving for. But yeah, the protagonist from Death Note was one main character I could care less about. Yeah, L. Yeah. There's a lot of things. I think Lisa was a good character in that show. She's silly as hell, but I like silly characters. She's very she's very Borderlands Tiny Tina, but yeah. Yeah, but shows that, and I'll call two shows out where I really could care less about the main characters, but I like the supporting characters. One of them would be Will and Grace. I did not care about Will and Grace in any way at all, but Jack and Karen made me laugh because they were so overboard, you know. Another one would be True Blood. I could absolutely care less about Bill and whatever, but all the supporting characters were absolutely amazing. You know, they were really good. And Jessica was a good one. Eric was a good one. You know, all those supporting characters were great to me. But the two main characters, oh man, I just like no, please shoot me in the head. Um, I Met Your Mother is a perfect example because less. I couldn't care less for Ted. Yes, yeah, he's just there. You know, uh, yeah. There's a lot of shows like that, and the supporting characters make it. The supporting characters make them decent shows. You know, Sookie, that was the word I couldn't look over. Yeah, so for in True Blood, Bill and Sookie, I could care less about. Absolutely, just like nope. But everyone else, really good jobs. Really good stuff. Just come. I feel the same way about the Orville. Yeah, the Orville. I watched them all. I tried, but there's just the. I think it's the pacing of it. I don't know. It just the Orville just couldn't. Supporting characters can be seen as more dynamic and engaging because they often operate outside the typical expectations of the protagonist and outshine them in terms of the fan admiration too. That's true. Yeah. You know, plus they also they show the weaknesses of the main character, and some people don't like that. Arendar, thank you very much for the follow. I need to I need to have a whole Steam bot party and build a bunch of stuff. But the quiz thing is something I'm gonna look into tonight. So, but I want to replace the follow thing with something else. I have an idea. We'll work it out. This is an anime example, but despite him growing on me later on, I didn't like Eren from the Attack on Titan. I knew of his importance and everything, but he was insufficient and insufferable for a while. I love the side characters like Miska and cool. Yeah, that's just like there's one show like in all of the space universes. I could never Babylon 5 I just didn't get it. In all honesty, whatever they were trying to put across there, I've tried watching all of them. I've watched them a couple times because they're in my rotation, but it just like I just don't get it. The Orville seems confused to me. It has some comedy that's pretty far out there, and then it gets incredibly serious, but you wonder if it will be another joke or not. Yeah, it's just not. This doesn't sit well in your brain pan. How about that? That's a good way to put it. That doesn't sit well in my brain pan. Mm. It was trying to be a Star Trek that Discovery refused to be. Oh, whatever. I don't think it hit the mark though. No, it didn't. A lot of them don't, but they still go on forever, and I don't understand why. So, but that's back to what we were talking about in regards to story. Is if your supporting characters are supporting the actual main character, your story's just going to be a whole lot stronger. And that's what my point was trying to be, and tying each character into something about the main character that needs work, or that needs to be something he should be paying attention to, or stuff like that. Always, to me, is just seemed to make logical sense. So I would definitely suggest looking into that. Look at the different possibilities. And it also gives you a really good foundation for those supporting characters to make them even better. So, okay. Tell you where to train. We talked about that one. Let me go back to our page because I got Herman's head up on over here. Put this back down at the bottom. Okay, so we're on the character screen, so we'll do that. So later on, we will look at, okay, here's our main character, and we do we'll just sit there and say, what does each, let me just put it in here like this. Insert, we'll say this, because I'm not gonna lock them down right now, but we could put it as, just for now, I'm just going to write this. I'm going to write that. I'm going to spell it wrong. Representation. Yeah, that's about as wrong as you can spell it, I believe. And it's basically change. Thank you. Yes, I know I spelled other things wrong. We're all good. So we can say what is their representation to the to our main character. Turn that one off. Put this one in here. Put 2 in. Then we'll just do that format. This way we can say what the representation to the main, meaning what is the representation to the main character for characters. And as we add characters, we will do the same thing. We'll do the same exercise. Say, okay, what does this person represent in his life? And in this one here, we would say that just for giggles here, Grandpa represents his security. And his grandfather's brother represents his fear. We do something like that, just as a starting point, not as that's where it's going to end, but that's something to think about. Yeah, I did like the Orville. It was just there. I thought that Galaxy Quest did it better. The movie Galaxy Quest did it better, but I can see kind of what they were trying to do. A well-written supporting character holds a majority. We're up to the yes. Yep. I think it depends. Sometimes the main character is supposed to be the avatar of the viewer. Sometimes. Well, it even works with that attack, is even if the main character is an avatar of the viewer, those other characters can represent the fears, the securities, all the things that the viewer may be going through, without saying, you're going through this, without putting it on the main character in the show. So you can learn that way. Definitely GQ did better, yeah. Never give up, never surrender. By Thor's hammer, I shall avenge you. I said the word wrong, but that's because I can't remember what it is. But the Orville didn't have to hire Tim Allen and Alan Rickman. Well, that's true. I mean, I'm not dissing them. I'm just saying that to me, they're kind of the same genre. And I just personally like one better. I have watched the other one. In fact, I bought the whole series and put it on my Quest, on my Plex system, and it is in my watching rotation. So, yeah, yeah, it's a good. Here's what I'll say. Kind Psycho is, yes, it's a different way of looking at it, but it gives you a starting point. And Zombie. And with that starting point, yeah, you can build off of it into a whole bunch of directions that you may not have thought of before. Mm-hmm. We are in Zombie Land. I think I need to rearrange my screen specifically because of the zombie, so that everything is more centered to the screen. I'll have to move. I'll have to resize my um, main camera feed and all that stuff. But the Orville was kind of boring. Never got into it, but it was still miles better than Attack of the Titans. I never watched Attack of the Titans, so I don't know. Probably one of the worst animes I've ever watched. Oh wow, that's brutal. I'll have to go look at it now. I've never seen it. That's me, Uncle. Take this. For some reason, my upper back is scratching me to death, so I'm doing something about it. Done. Done or not, we're done. Yep. This is not my son. This is me. This is actually a painting of me done by Gerald Brom, the artist. We became friends when he was working at Blizzard to do the artwork for Diablo 3 and Diablo 2. No, yeah. And then he painted me as a zombie. It is on the wall behind me. It is an oil painting that he did, and he's an amazing artist. In fact, if I brought this up before, is if you look up his name, you will recognize all of the art that he's done. Yes, it's Zombie Joy. Yes. Um, and he is just an amazing artist. I can't put that any other way. Just absolutely amazing artist. But yes, when I was younger, I looked a lot like my son. That is correct. But that also means that my son actually looks like me because I came first. Therefore, I win. He looks like me. He should stop stealing my face. Okay, there you go. Thor, stop stealing my face. Give it back. Or as I put it before, and it made people giggle, is I made that face. It also means he will look like you when he's older. That's 100% possible. Now, he has a little bit of his mom in him as far as looks and stuff like that. And he did get her very straight hair, which I do not have very straight hair. I have extremely curly hair, and it's all kind of tied back there and held down by my headphones. But mm, yeah, as far as the piece of art, let me see if I no, because if I well, yeah, I could do that. Yes, it's a Gerald Brom. It's actually right above my head here, right there. Not there, right there. There's the actual painting. Unfortunately, I can't take it off the wall because of the way it's mounted. But it's an actual oil painting by Gerald Brom. He's a fantastic, fantastic guy. And every time I mention him, I do mention his book that he wrote that I really liked, which was The Child Thief, which was a very, very dark version of Peter Pan, which I just thought was amazing, absolutely amazing piece of work. I even go back and read it at least once a year because it's just really, really good. It tells the story of Peter Pan as someone who comes to the real world to steal children to fight the war in Neverland. And I'm just like, that is a great way to look at it. From my perspective, I always thought that was, I never really liked everything's happy, blah, 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 blah. No, there's an actual war going on in Neverland. And he wrote a version of it. It is called The Child Thief is the name of the book. And I think I put it up in our Discord as one of the books in our book section. Pretty sure I did. Did I? If I didn't, I should have. There's movies, blah, 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 share, blah, blah. Where did I put the books? Albums? Was it under, reading list? Maybe it's in there. Is it in there? I did not put it in there. I'm going to put it in there later today. Go to my list and put that in the list. Yeah. I will tell you this, that his version is extremely dark. It's not your bright, happy future Peter Pan. It is a very, very dark book. Not for children. In my opinion, I wouldn't give it to my child to read, but I would keep it and I would read it and then let them read it when they got older type thing. But, just excellent book. Just an absolutely excellent book. I'm sorry, I'm going to my to-do list. We'll go under books. Okay, add. Add Child Thief to reading. My to-do list is growing and growing. If someone's asked, do you think it would be like American McGee's Alice? I don't think I've ever read American McGee's Alice, so I will have to, or seen it if it's a movie, I will have to look it up. I'm actually copying it from your text so that I can put it on my book list as something to go. I have some points, so I can use those. American McGee's Alice. Don't think I've ever heard of that. I may have and then just forgot. But I will check it out. So it'd be a book for big kids. Yeah. For big kids, yes. Big childs. Yeah, I would say, me personally, I would say 14 and over. Maybe 15 and over, depending on your child, because not every child is the same at 15 and 14. Don't know if it's a book, but I'm assuming it might be. I know it's a game, but very dark. You mean the American McGee's Alice? Oh, yeah. That's the truth. Threatened by drug dealers who stalk his mother's home, 14-year-old Nick is saved by a strange and compelling boy named Peter. Now, this wild boy with flaming hair and pointy ears wants Nick to follow him into a strange and unsettling mist to the faraway land filled with fairies and monsters. Wary, yet with nowhere else to go, Nick agrees. Oh, look, another character with my name. Yes, good job, me, Debbie. Yeah, it's a good book. I enjoyed it. I remember he was having a book signing up in L.A. at one of the dark bookstores, and I drove up to L.A. and I hid in the back of all the people and got the book and got in line. And I'm in line, kind of hiding behind people because I didn't want them to see me. And I'm standing there, and his son was sitting next to him at the table, and his son recognized me first because his son was doing an internship with the sound department at Blizzard. And his son kind of waved at me, and I'm like, no, 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 because his dad hadn't looked up yet. And I'm standing there, and I'm kind of, my back is turned because he's helping the people in front of me, so he doesn't see me. And I turn around, and I walk to the table, and I drop the table on the book. And I go, sign the book. And he goes, he looked up, he goes, Jordan Ray, what are you doing here? He goes, I would have brought one to your office. I go, no, we come out and we support our own. You're having a book signing. I'm going to come out to your book signing. I'm not going to say, oh my God, I couldn't make it to your book signing, but he's a really down to home, wholesome dude. And I really like that about him because he was always just very honest and open and very, very creative, hugely creative guy. Yeah. So when he was putting out his very first book of all the artwork he had ever done, which is a lot, and as part of it, he did a Kickstarter, and with that Kickstarter is how he painted my painting, and then also put my painting in the book. So I thought that was actually kind of cool that I got to be part of his original history. So he was a very nice dude, very nice guy. Okay, where are we at? Okay, blah blah blah. All right. Sorry, I get off track sometimes, but I think that was worth it. So yeah, so your main character may not always be the most loved character in your show, your story, whatever, but that's okay because if you work with your supporting characters and give them, basically pull a chunk of your main character's brain out and put it in your supporting characters, then if you do it right, your main character will grow with them. I think a lot of times main characters fall apart because the supporting characters are better written than the main character, if that makes sense. So plus a lot of these shows, they go on for so long. It's like, what was the point of the main character? What was his story arc? What was he trying to accomplish? Whatever it was, we don't remember anymore. So you got to keep that through that up front as well. What is their North Star? What is their Southern Cross? What is the thing that they're striving to? And you lose that, and then your story falls apart, and then people are just like, I don't know where to go now. Okay, I have to say, really love your storytelling. Probably already said it so a few times since you first streamed, but I always love it as much every time. Okay, cool. I'm glad I could help. I do want to say this, and I want to do a shout out for Chris Metzen, who had back surgery yesterday, and he's recovering fine, doing great, and I'm very happy about that. So, shout out to Mr. Metzen, dude. You know how I feel. Get better for us all. You're going to be awesome. Yeah, he had some back issues that needed to be worked on, and he came out of everything good. So we're all good. We're all glad that he's recovering well. In fact, I'm pretty sure, let me check to see. Yeah, he's still, yep. No, always remember to check on your friends when they have real world issues. Make sure they're okay. Yep. No updates. Okay, yeah, he's doing good. I wrote him, but I don't think he's going to answer, but that's okay, because him getting better is more important than him answering me. That's for damn sure. Okay, we went through that. We went through this. Okay, so let me show you where we're at on our silly little game here. Come back to this. Let me load up what I was working on last night. That'd be number 20. And when I went this morning, I was going to do a build this morning, but for some reason, it won't compile. So I'm going to have to do some checks as to what the hell's going on. Oh, it says that there's 7 errors. Yay. Love the 7 errors. Yeah. That's some screaming stuff right there. So yeah, that might be part of it. But we can look at it in in GameMaker here real quick, as opposed to actually looking at a build. I'm looking for my window. It's down here. Okay. I think it would be this one. Is that the right one? It might be. No, that's the wrong one. I want this one. Okay. So I went through, and like I said, I got through 20. It looks like there's some errors that need to be fixed. It says I have 7 errors. So I have to go back and figure out what I do. I may have saved without in the wrong place. But we now have, from his perspective of what he's building, we now have, oh, wow, things are missing. Let's go back to 19. Go back here. Survey says that's a big blank screen. Rooms. Hello, rooms. We want our village. There's our village, and nobody's in there. Our signposts are gone. Everything's gone. Oh, they're not turned on. Okay, that's better. There you go. So we got our little mock-up village done here. He showed another way to do the teleporters between rooms. I really like the way it is, because now instead of having to write code for them, we have a setup for, we can just go to the variables, and in the variables, we can set up our target, and our things that we were doing with code before is now we just have a menu. We can just go in and type it in and look at it and have it all come up. Let's see if I can get a little closer. I cannot get a little closer to that. It's not letting me. Nope. So I wish I could get closer to that, but it shows now our target X, our target Y, all the things that we were doing. No, what you're looking at is, Armina, what you're looking at is the tutorial I'm doing, not our game. Our game, once I finish the tutorial, then I will be using what I've built in the tutorial to build our game. But I need to finish the tutorial. I'm only on number 20 of 51, but some of them are real short coming up. So, but it looks like I have some errors that I need to figure out what I did wrong. So I need to review that tonight. But we also now have this one here. I built this last night. This slowed me down. But now all of our teleporters are now in a position where they're all so much easier to deal with, because instead of like having to write code for them on the creation code, we can just set variables. And the creation code is actually only written once back in some of the O game stuff, which is the main game loop. So if we look at our main game loop, where did it go? Where did it go? Oh, it's up here? No, that's entities. That's just not our game loop. Managers. There it is. So if we look at here, then the actual code for that is, let's see, restart game, layer management, I believe is where it's at. Nope. One of these has the code for actually doing that. Actually, I'm wrong. Let's go back to where we were. If we go back to village, this is a child of room exit. That's what I'm looking for. So we're looking for a room exit, this one. This one should have the code. So this says, this is where it actually takes it and then transports us to the next thing. But this piece of code is only written once, and then the variables are filled in as we're building our transportation, our teleportation blocks. So it's a whole lot easier than how I had it, where you had to enter it in every single one, the whole code in every single one. So if something broke, finding it would be a complete nightmare. Yeah, sorry, she is a really good tutorial maker. Back when these tutorials were made, which is 4 years ago now, which is why there's some things that are probably broken, because I have to take the code that he wrote into that back then and transcode it into how Game Maker works now. So that's why I get, once I do all the things in his thing, then I have to go back and try to fix the errors where Game Maker has changed in the last 4 years. One of them is all of these here. If we look at the scripts, let me go down here to scripts, scripts. So we have a shit ton of scripts that you cannot see on your screen. So no. Let me see if I can fix that. No, I can't. So but the scripts now are written, the way they're written is like this, is now their procedures or functions. And at some point, I know that they changed the code, part of the code halfway through his tutorials, and he didn't go back and redo them, and that's fine. But then we'll consolidate these functions into a single document, and then it'll be able to call the functions from there. So that I like better than what we were doing before. Whereas now, even the levels, the way the levels are controlled are from a single script, and not every level and or room, as they call them, is a standalone entity. It actually has a master script that everything runs from, which makes it easier for us to do things. Yep. One who made it, yeah. He's really good. He's really good at making tutorials, without a doubt. Really good at explaining things. There are a couple times when he does something and doesn't say what it is, but you can figure out what it is he did. There is one that he did that I haven't been able to figure out, but I can hear him hitting the keyboard to make it happen. I just don't know what key he's hitting, so that's funny. Before the real change, yeah. Yep. So I don't remember what his name is. His name now is Sarah, so that I saw, but I like it. I also like the fact that we can do stuff like this. This particular argument here is how we handle the conversation with the cat in the neighborhood. His name was Sean. Okay. I think it's Sarah now. Is Sara, I believe. Because I think that's what it says in YouTube. But yeah, cool. Really good at tutorials. I mean, just really good helping you understand why and all that other stuff, as well as showing you different ways of doing things. But it looks like, based on the things down here, is I apparently marked something as an argument one, or I didn't mark my arguments correctly. So yeah, so here's a type string, or I misspelled something, which I do sometimes, as you guys know. But the tutorial is worth going through. I don't know if there's an update to it. I'm going through the full series, and that's where we're doing that. Now, if we go back to where ours is, I haven't done really anything on ours because I was waiting for, I was hoping to get through this faster so that we could, but I will be going through and building our world, our stuff in that as soon as I'm done with it. Oh shit, ads. Could you tell me what the key did? I used Game Maker Studio for a while ago, so maybe I could find what it was. What the key did? I don't. Could you tell me what the key did? I don't know. I don't know what key you're talking about. The only thing I know about Game Maker Studio is what I learned in the first tutorial I did, which was 5 tutorials, and then what I've learned in the first 20 of these. And I'm not sure what you're referring to, Kind Psycho, as what the key did. I don't know what you're referring to. The thing I didn't figure out. You mean in key? Okay, my brain's blank on it. Sorry. Any tutorials? You would have to give me more information than that, Kind Psycho. I mean, I know what the Keymaster did. But I mean, I could find the key he pressed that caused the thing you couldn't reproduce, and that he didn't explain. I'm done. Ah, we have visitors. Sir Bucketland, thank you very much for the follow. Oh, we're out of ads. Okay. Didn't realize we had come out of ads. I was trying to figure out what that was about. Don't know. So I'm moving on. Okay. Now we do still have our design page. It is still active. I don't think I opened it today, but let's open it up here and get it. Where did my page go? It's down here. Okay. Let's see if it will open. And I am going to keep it because what I want to do is eventually we're going to roll back from our Excel file to the design page again, so that, oh God, what the hell is that? Let's close that. You get up there, get out of the way, so I can actually pull this page up. Okay, let's see if the right page comes up. Let me make sure there's nothing up there that shouldn't be seen. No, everything looks good. Let's see what happens. Okay, it did come up. Good. Came up as the right page. And then disappeared. Try this again. Thank you. Alrighty then. So I am saving this. And what I'm going to do eventually is I'm going to create another board and then take all the stuff from the Excel file that we're doing. In fact, this is our Excel file, as you guys, we were just looking at it, working on it here a little bit ago. Now, if I remember correctly, I can import, in fact, let's do this over in the corner over here. Let's grab a little piece of fertile ground here and say, I think there's an import board. New board, export, move, blah, 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 blah. Edit. Nope. Okay, maybe they took it out. That's too bad. I really liked it. Because you could import an Excel file and it would make all of your post-it notes for it. New board. Okay. Duplicate. Background color. I like the gray background color. We'll be keeping that in the future because the white is just too bright. Let's see over here. Is it over here? Recent. No, that is something. Create new. Maybe we have to create a new. Let's try. Let's try creating a new board. Import from Excel. Import from concept board. Lucidchart, Lucid Spark. No, import diagram. Nope. Let's make a new board. And let's just see if we can. Oh, maybe we'll try that. Let's try this. Let's grab this page. They copy. This should be interesting. This should probably make a hell of a mess. Pest tables has stickers. Okay, good. It put them all out of order, but yeah, we'll have to. Oh, because it's doing all the blanks, so we don't want the blanks. But if we order everything correctly and we do the single pieces, we can do that and then fix it all. But wow, it went all the way to the end of the page. I probably shouldn't have taken it that far, but you get the basic idea. Let's grab this section of it instead. So if we want to do something like, say, just this part here, we can bring it in here and it'll make paste, that one. Then at least we have the clarity of it. But I'm going to figure out how to format the page correctly so that it doesn't get this bad. You know. So his father, yeah, so it just doesn't put them in order. It used to. But we will get there. We'll figure out how to do it correctly and then bring it in. Because you used to be able to just import an Excel file and it would work. Go back here. But yeah, so let's go back to our Windows. So to our Excel file. Sorry, my dentures are squeaking. No, I'm kidding. I don't have dentures. But it was funny. That's cool. Bump, 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 bump. His name is Sean. Yeah, got that. Could you tell me? Okay, we did all that. I think that was a joke. I don't think it was meant as real. Mm-hmm. Bump, bump, bump. That should be finished. I love watching your son. He rocks. Cool. It's nice to finally meet the legend, South Park WoW player. Cool. Looking forward to seeing your stream more. Okay, cool. Stop by anytime, Sir Bucketland. Or Sir Buckland. Why did I say bucket? Good luck with the dev then. I'm melting. Cool. The village people. YMCA. Cool. Okay, where are we at? It is, oh geez, it's already after 3. How the hell did that happen? So yeah, I ranted pretty heavily on the story stuff. So hopefully, you guys get the basics of what I was trying to get across on that, and why it's important to put value into your supporting characters, to make your main character more interesting. Because it's kind of like one way to look at it is if he's talking to one of the supporting characters, what part of himself is he actually having the conversation with? Because it's basically the supporting characters are the different voices in his head and that argue with him constantly. Is one way to look at it. There's probably better ways to look at it, but that's the only thing that. Oh, so much enthusiasm. Yeah, I know. My battery's running low for some reason. I don't know why. I think I needed more coffee this morning than I actually got. I should have had 2 instead of 1. But we will have some water because my voice is starting to go a little bit. But was the stuff that we talked about? Oh wow, that went minimal. Why did that go minimal? Was the stuff that we talked about helpful? And what are your guys' thoughts on all of it? That would be my next question. Is a lot of you seem to be very much interested in thinking of things a different way is what the goal was, and hopefully that has helped quite a bit. Mm-hmm. And we had talked about that. I think in my notes. I think we covered everything in my notes. So covered that. I need to look at Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I look at their quest tracking. I need to talk about Living Journal. We talk about training. Story stuff is good. The simplest example is the ancient rule: your hero is only as good as your villain. Your supporting characters are there to flush out your main character, but if they're really only stuff of author wants get access, they fall dull. True. Now, another thing about villains, though, is my favorite villains are the villains that believe they're doing the right thing for the right reasons. I don't like villains that are just villains to be villains. I'm just not, they're not, there's not enough depth there for me to treat them as a good villain. My favorite example of this would be Dexter. If you look at Dexter, Dexter believes he's doing the right thing. He struggles to do the right thing. But at the same time, he does very, very bad things for the right reasons. And I found that as very compelling from a story point of view and from a character point of view. But every villain that I'm assuming every villain that I've ever liked is because they really believed they were doing the right thing. That is villain for being villain. I disagree. Okay, Thanos was a dummy. Okay. But on the other hand, the Joker is chaos incarnate and he's awesome. Yes, but the Joker believed he was doing the right thing. Thanos, I don't, my way of looking at him, what I saw, I don't think he believed he was doing the right thing, or he just fooled himself. But those that truly believe they're doing the right thing are the best villains. Yeah, the villains you relate to are the best, and you're absolutely right. Maybe that's why I like Dexter so much. And I would like to thank Brian Farr from the Blizzard Sound team for introducing me to Dexter when it came out on television, which is the first place I saw it. And it became one of my favorite shows. I'm very happy because I think they're doing a 9th series now, and I'm looking forward to see how they go with it. But they did come back last year and make the 8th season, and that 8th season actually I thought worked out. Problem with Thanos is that there are 2 versions. One from the movies, which does not make much sense. That's my problem with Thanos in the movies, yes. And one from the comics, which is written totally differently. Oh, okay. Yeah, the Thanos in the movies, I just didn't understand. You know, I mean, sorry, Brolin, but I didn't understand your Thanos. Yeah, and I think that's a writing problem without a doubt. Is some of the lore and mystique of comic books, I think that they need to keep some of that, a lot more of that in there, so that the whole world doesn't fall apart based on someone misreading stuff. Do you care for spoilers from comics and anybody? I can say a basic difference if you want. Me personally, I don't care about spoilers from comics. The Heath Ledger Joker is the best portrayal of the character. Yes, it is. And the character himself doesn't believe in good or evil. He does things just to piss off Batman and to be a chronic, as chaotic as possible. So he generally is generally chaos incarnate. Yes, but I still believe from watching that character that he does it also because he enjoys it and thinks it's a good thing. What a message for reasons. Sex. Okay. Let me read this because our auto mod has removed this. MCU Thanos was very disillusioned and self-righteous, but it's what made him fascinating to me. He believes he's doing the universe a favor, but his actions show that he's a narcissist, abusive father whose head is so far. Okay, yeah, can't say that. Uh, Davey Art Corner, if you can reword that a little bit, that would be great. It's the last three words that stopped it from going through, Davey. Yeah, no worries. It got caught. Your sentiment is correct. It just looks like the Autobot, the auto mod didn't like your last three words. I don't know if I can believe the Joker thinks he done the right thing. Yeah. To Davy Jones's locker with that comment. Too funny. No, the comment was very well thought out. I just think that it's highlighted the last three words in the comments. So if you just rearrange those or do them a different way or write something different for that, then it would probably be fine. The base premise of Thanos is that he was doing it for love. He was flirting with death herself. She was constantly pushing him away. So he made himself a goat that he will win her praise by balancing the world. Hence, his race for all the stones to make the snap. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I didn't get into those comic books. So, yeah. Like I said, I read comic books as a kid, but I didn't think that much of them in regards to other than, oh, I got comic books, I'm reading them. You know, um, my overall for comic books, I have a alt universe Superman that I like, which is Red Sun. I really like that story. I thought they did a really good job on it. But other than that, it's I do have like the Transformers book that Metzen wrote, and I have a signed copy of that, which I really care about. But no, I don't collect comic books. I just never got the need for it. Didn't Death actually love Deadpool? I don't know. Maybe. Hmm. I need to put my big clock up. So I bought a big clock. This is my big clock. And I keep forgetting to put it up. And I wanted to put it up to where I could see it while we're doing it because I keep looking over at the itty bitty tiny Windows clock on the right there to try to keep on time. So eventually I need to put the big clock up here somewhere. Maybe I'll put a tray on top of this over here. If it doesn't block the light, then you know, they dated, and that's why Thanos hates him. Okay, wow. I'm learning more about the Deadpool Thanos comic storyline than I ever knew about Thanos in the movies that they put him in. Deadpool dated death. Hmm. Eh, Puritans. Gotta love them. Okay. Ah. Isn't that the ultimate rejection, though? What, death? If death rejects you, is that a rejection or is that a prize? So if you date death, then you and death break up, and death never wants to see you again. You live forever, right? That makes sense to me. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was just saying. I don't want to ever see you again. But then you imply that when you die, you hang around death for a very, very long time. Interesting. Immortality is more often a curse than blessing. That is correct. I like the sentiment in storytelling more. Yeah. Yeah, living forever would suck, in all honesty. Especially if you didn't have the ability to improve anything. You just had to like they always show in movies where I've been alive for 400 years, and every 20 years I have to go and pretend to die and then hide out for a little while and then come back. I did don't get me wrong, I like the whole Highlander theory and series. I love the original movie quite a bit, but living forever would just, to me, no, no thanks. I don't think that's something we're going to do today. Yeah, I would end up as a babbling idiot in the corner. There can be only one. Yeah. In case I would highly recommend to watch Man from Earth. Oh, I have it. In fact, my friend Mike Donatelli, who I worked with at both 6 Foot in Houston and in Jagex in Cambridge, sent me a thing saying you need to watch this movie, and I just watched it like a week and a half ago, and it was really, really good. Oh, and the whole point of it is that the main character calls all of his colleagues up to say goodbye. Or wait, no, they show up at his house to say goodbye because he quit his job and all this other stuff. And then he tells them, look, he's been alive for like 400 or 500 years, and that he has to do this every few years. And the whole thing is about ads. The whole thing is not about ads, but we're about ads. I was ranting. Really good movie. Go watch that. Yeah, The Man from Earth is really, really well done. And it's just a guy talking to his friends at a going away party and trying to help them understand that he has lived for 400 years, and that some of them don't believe him. There's a whole it's just so well written and so well done. Please go see it. It's a new movie, so I haven't put it on my list yet, but it will be on the movie list eventually. Is there? I don't think that's true, Sparta. I think that The part I'm only talking about the first sentence is there's only so much heartbreak a person can take. That I don't think that's true. I think that we are capable of a lot more than we believe we are capable of in regards to not just heartbreak, but everything else as well. There's only so much a person can do before they get bored. That is true. Beyond their mental capability could handle. Well, what I'm thinking is if you've lived that long, then back when you were in your first life, we'll say, things were a lot simpler. So I think that the mind's ability to adapt could do it, in all honesty, because you're not taking someone from 400 years ago and just dropping them into now. That, yes, that would blow your brain up in like no time. But because you're part of the evolution that's going on, I don't think it would be as bad as we imagine it would be. But how many cycles of you burying the people you love could you handle? Yeah, that would be, well, even that is, we talked about relativity of time, whereas a year to a baby, a year to a 2-year-old, a year to a 5-year-old is completely different from a year to someone like me who's in their 60s. You know, because to a 1-year-old, it's 50% of their life. So yeah, that's going to be a huge impact. For a 5-year-old, it's half their life too, but it's only 2.5 years. For me, a year is 1/64th of my life, which goes by really, really fast. Now, if you look at it from the standpoint of being 400 years old, where a year is 1/400th of your life, even with the emotional impacts of people coming and going and dying and all that other stuff, it's going to go by so quickly in your awareness that I don't think many of them will stay with you for long. Because I think that grief has a life cycle, and when that life cycle is done, it's done. And I think that much time would allow for those life cycles to go through. No, don't worry about it, Sparta. It's not a bleak image. You know, you have to think about this stuff sometimes. Mhm. Now, would I like to start my immortal existence now? No. No, thank you. You know, but if we get to the point of technology where humans can live 100, 200 years, I'm not sure that's going to be a good thing. Simply because the amount of people we have on the planet now is really hard to sustain. If you have all of them living to 200 years and more people being born on top of that, then it's going to get crazy fast. Would that even make driving fast and everything not be as much fun? Because yeah, part of the fact that we can die, to Devil King's point, part of the fact that we can die makes things that we do sometimes more thrilling. You know, sky jumping, cliff diving, cliff climbing, you know, all the things is there's that piece in the back of your mind going, this is dangerous, this could end it all. And that does actually play into this quite a bit. You know, your own mortality helps you sometimes get through things and also holds you back from things. Depends on how good your memory is. I'd have to imagine you'd basically end up barely remembering anything from earlier years. I agree with that. You know, even remembering back to 5 years old is difficult. Perhaps the theory of relativity would help with grief, probably. But from my current perspective, it's the worst thing I could think of about immortality. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. if you do things often enough, then you'll get better at them as well. Bury enough people and you'll know the routine. Yeah, I mean, to your point, I think that, yes, I think that at some point you might get bored with it, you know? And I'm sure that there'll be a few hundred years in there somewhere where you're just like mad at them for leaving when you have to stick around type thing. I think there's a lot of emotions that can go along with immortality that we're not ready for, but it doesn't mean that we can't. I think the human mind can handle it. Okay, mind split. Good point. What if you're just never dead from old age? What if you just never died? You mean just kept growing old? You couldn't be killed, but you wouldn't age or die. Okay. Well, then I guess, what if you just never died from old age? Not that you couldn't be killed, but you wouldn't die, age and die. Well, it depends on which age you stopped growing old. Hello, hungry we proxy. You've walked in the middle of a very interesting conversation. Let's see if you trip and fall into a deep hole at some point and can't get out. Yeah, there's been, I don't know if they're Twilight Zones or Outer Limits that were based on that kind of stuff, where you finally get immortality, but then you get put in a situation where you just can consistently keep dying over and over and over again forever because you've been buried or you've been put in you've fallen into something that you can't get out of. Being Our cognitive structure, emotional frameworks, and sense of meaning are all based on finitude. The idea that things end without limits. Motivation. Yeah, that's another thing. Why get up and do something? I'm going to be here tomorrow, so I'm not going to die. So why go shopping? Okay. Why take out the trash? It doesn't matter. I can let it pile up for a couple hundred years. I think the All-Father is trying to make us believe he's a mortal like us. I am a mortal. I am mortal. Hear me roar. I will die just like everybody else. Yeah. Okay, let's wrap this up. We're going to wrap this part of the story up, and we're going to move on. We do not have infinite memories. True. Because you don't actually remember the original memory. You don't actually remember the original event. You remember the memory you remembered of it last. Yeah, and I think I said that correctly. You're remembering the memory, not the actual event. Yeah, the photographic memory thing was always one that threw me. But so, go back to the main character, this kid figure. Yep, kid figure. Figure. He's immortal, or is this the battle going on along him? No, we just got off on a tangent. Sorry about that. This is not for our main character. This was just a tangent that we kind of went off at. Yeah, our brains. Savvy's right. Our brain reconstructs the memories each time we think of them. So you're not actually remembering the actual event. You're remembering a reconstruction of the memory, reconstruction of the memory, reconstruction of the memory, which is really weird. I really hate my autocorrect. I would just like to state that now. Yeah, autocorrect sucks. All right, let's close this up. Let me throw our logo up here. Boop, 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 boop. Where is the logo? Logo's here. We're going to close the windows. Okay. Now.